Yo, what's going on? It's the NOC, the Nerds of Color, and we are back with another ShoPowSho. It's your boy, Cool Ya P, aka the leader of the Holla Holla Homies and the Sinner Gang Gang, the Tocino Terminator with the amazing artes. You know them, the Lechon ladies. What's up, Kataphorric and Viva Valentina? How y'all ladies?
Doing good.
I forgot Dinaguan Destroyers.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot you all are the Dinagon Destroyers. So great to see y'all. Good to see y'all both together. Good. Look at Tina rocking the new hairstyle too. Like, I mean, not Tina, but Kat. Kat with the new hairstyle, got the little bob thing going on, looking lovely. Appreciate y'all, man. I hope the sun's shining down there in Virginia Beach because I got the sunlight sparking at me from seeing y'all right now. I love that. Good to see y'all. Hey, man, we got another amazing one. First time we've had a sibling on the show, which is going to be crazy. So we're going to get kind of two sides to sort of the same story of growing up. We'll see, but it's one I'm really excited about. Big fan of this family. As y'all know, we kicked off the year with Mr. Dante Basco, and now we're starting to get other members of the family in. They're like the Jacksons to me, y'all. I love all of them. And as y'all know from the debut, which is one of my favorite films, it's a classic. The character I was most similar, besides Dante, being amongst my Pinoy squad growing up, was this brother right here, Mr. Derek Basco, who was dropping knowledge to his cats, man. If y'all remember the classic car scene as they were playing basketball, he was talking to all his peoples and just educating on how us brown people was holding it down, and they just aren't really connected. So let's bring him on as he drops his knowledge. I'm super excited. Mr. Derek Basco, aka DJ. Air horns are going off right now.
Something like the Jacksons, but we're Filipino, like Marlon and Michael and Jermaine and Tito.
Hey, that's good. Yo, I'm so excited, man. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you here with us, DJ Derek, Mr. Derek Basco, man.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you and the Dinaguan Destroyers.
Yo, you know what? I forgot to mention. You are, because I recently watched, well, actually, I've seen it a couple times. I was blessed to see it as an actor, to see your performance in the Fabulous Filipino Brothers. I meant to say we have coming up the Pandesal Punisher. I'm not gonna say the cock worshiper because that might give away a few things. But
the whisperer, cock whisperer. Oh yeah, the cock. Not worshiper. No. I don't worship the cock.
Oh shit! That's my bad. The cock whisperer. The whisperer. Oh my god. But he's the Pandesal Punisher, and he broke it down.
Pandesal Punisher.
And the distinguishing the difference. It was beautiful, man. Derek Basco in the house, man. I'm so blessed right now. I'm so happy to have you here, bro.
Oh man, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm like, man, why are they calling to interview me? I'm just, just doing my thing. But you don't realize after a while, like the body of work that you've done. You know what I mean? So then I had to look at it and go, oh, okay. I guess I could talk on this show. I have something to talk about,
Of course, man.
Oh yeah, you're just kind of a big deal. Whatever.
No, not even. In the Asian community, everyone knows us. We could walk around the streets and nobody will know who we are, which is great. Especially now with the mask, nobody knows. Go out and be like,
yo, man. But with just the body of the work that you have done, man, and because we have such few representation, it's been instrumental, man. It's inspired us. It made us feel seen. And so I can't thank you and your family enough for what you've done. And I can't wait for the rest of the world to see the Fabulous Filipino Brothers, because it is even more so the true Filipino American story and the most I've ever connected to a film. And it's just a classic, man. And you shine, brother. Oh my God.
Oh,
I related it to you in so many ways as the reliable one.
Well, you're the kuya too and a dad. So, in life, it's like, there's no excuses. You just got to get stuff done. So they kind of wrote that about me in the script, that I was like the responsible one. And I get shit handled one way or another. Filipinos always have a lot of jobs. That's why he's calling me DJ Derek, because on the side, when I'm not acting, I run a DJ business and a photo booth business just to keep my grind on so that I can feed my 4 kids and my wife.
Are you the one that brings the karaoke to the weddings?
Yes, I am.
Oh, it's so Filipino.
So Filipino.
And when you're not Filipino and I bring it, they go, "This is amazing." And I'm like, "This is just a family party, man.
Great. This is a Sunday, bro. Like,
Just come to our house on a Friday night. This like every Friday, you know."
I love it, man. But yo, we're gonna get more into Fabulous Filipino Brothers. We're gonna get into the debut. We're gonna get into how he became DJ Derek as well. All of that. So let me throw it off to Miss Viva Valentina with our first question out the gate. Let's go.
of course, we always like to know, where are you from? But like, where are you really from? And
Okay.
where are your parents from?
Okay. My parents are from the Philippines, Zambales and Olongapo. But we were born and raised here in a small town. It's actually a steel town, which I just recently found out. So Pittsburg, Pennsylvania is the big steel town. When they decided to open one up on the West Coast, they called it Pittsburg, but with no H. So it's Pittsburg, California, which is in the Bay Area. And that's where me and my brothers were all born, and my sister were born and raised.
Bay Area.
Bay Area.
And
Little
you are
Manila.
the
That's where all
eldest.
my cousins are too. So I love going back to California.
I know, because you guys are in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I haven't been there yet.
Oh, you
still-
got to come through. We got to show you
capital of
around,
the
man.
East Coast.
Yeah, we have a Jollibee, so
Yeah.
we're not that detached.
Mhm.
But
Well, my mom actually spent some time there growing up because my grandfather was in the Navy and he was stationed there for a little while.
Mhm.
So, you know, he had to go through there.
classic story.
Classic Filipino
Mhm.
story. That's how my family ended up here too.
Mhm.
Now we got a Jollibee. I live like right in the Filipino triangles that I call it, like between the Jollibee, the Filipino Cultural Center, and the Kung Fu Tea.
Ah, nice.
All right, so we're gonna go back to like the parents and we kind of have somewhat of that imagery because we spoke with Dante, but I want to get your perspective, Derek. So you are the oldest, right, of the four brothers, or is your sister?
Yeah, I'm the coolest.
Your sister's the youngest, right?
No, my sister's the youngest. So I'm the oldest. And
Okay.
between me and my brothers, I'm the oldest by 4 years. So it's me, and then it went Dorian, Dante, and Dion, and they're all like 15 to 18 months apart. So they're all like a year and a half apart. And then my sister happened another 4 years after that. So I think it's 4. I just know I'm 11 years older than her. So there's 5 of us. And our parents had us. And my mom, you know, growing up, she didn't have much. So she always had us involved in piano lessons, in cultural dancing, in tap dancing, in martial arts, Kaju Kembo, you know. She had us always doing all these different activities, singing lessons, guitar, piano, some stuff, some didn't, but it was just a matter of way of us keeping busy. And it was doing all the things that she always wanted to do. So she was kind of living her dreams vicariously through us. And we just thought that's what it meant to be Filipino. Oh, we sing, we dance, we play basketball, you know.
Yeah, man.
So that's how
was
we grew up, you know. And in our town, as a matter of fact, it's so funny because in our town, our uncle who lived across the street was the mayor. My godfather was a fireman. So it's like in our towns, because it was so Filipino predominant, everyone of you know, that were the leaders were Filipino. So it's like whatever you want to do, you can do, you know. So that was the nice thing about growing up in that town.
Hell yeah, that's amazing. I wish I could have seen that because it would have felt more seen and that I was be capable of doing such amazing things like that. That's beautiful that you had that, man. So props to the family having you in that area where you can see that that representation and ideal that you can do that and achieve that. So let's talk about, you know, because you are the oldest and you kind of saw things firsthand before the other ones kind of started, you know, messing with you. What was that like when they first came into when, you know, growing up, being that you're the oldest and then, you know, you have a little young rugrat, like what? Like I'm the older brother to a younger sister. Can we talk about like those funny family dynamics?
Well, you know, the 3 of them, they're like a pack, my 3 younger brothers. So like when they wanted to gang up on me, they would gang up on me. And even though I was 4 years older, I had them in check. It's so funny. because like we started out as a breakdancing group, and they were all little. So then I would be like, okay, this is the routines, and I would make the routines. I would see all the greatest groups around. I'd buy a piece of that, a piece of this, a piece of that, and we do our little routines. And I choreographed it all, and I'd be the one barking at them like, yo, you got to do this. You're off, this and that. Come on, let's practice again. Let's practice again. And I just kind of got into that role. And you know how it is. Sometimes when you're that role, the oldest brother, you fight it. You're like, man, why does it have to be me all the time? Why do I got to be in charge? If they get in trouble, I get in trouble. That's not right, Mom. But then you learn how to manipulate it, and you use your word, since you're the oldest, against them. They're the youngest. And you're like, no, that's not how it happened.
So
reality is whatever I dictate. That's right.
Yes.
I'm the oldest of three. So.
See, I think.
So
Yeah, and I've got my little brother's 5 years younger than me, and then my little sister's 11 years younger than me. So 100%, I'm there.
Yeah, but it took me a while to find that power. You know what I mean? And then not to abuse that power afterwards.
Yeah. So then that I'm glad you brought that up. So did with you choreographing everything and you being the oldest, did the idea to get into dancing first kind of start with you and your mom, and then getting your younger siblings involved?
Well, it's funny, you know, growing up, there was all these different groups around, and I wanted to be a group with my friends, but they couldn't get it together. Like, they wouldn't listen. You know what I mean? Yeah. But my brothers, they would listen. And in the beginning, I would fight my mom. Like, I don't want to do a group with them, Mom. I want to do it with my friends. And after a while, I was like, you know what, Mom? I'm going to do it with my brothers because, well, they listen, you know?
Yeah. That makes
so that's how
perfect
that's
sense,
how that
man.
happened.
that's so sweet.
Is it sweet? I think it's like a dance dictatorship. I love it. I'm all about it.
Now that makes perfect sense, because yeah, I've tried and started and failed with a bunch of groups as a young kid, trying to, you know, be the Michael Jackson, you know, that's what we do. We dance. So that's amazing, man. So moving from there, I from talking to Dante, you guys got into dancing, and then that kind of took you to places. You started getting scholarships in schools, and then you guys started traveling to LA to audition, and y'all were living in together in one big old house, and you kind of framework that as well in the Fabulous Filipino Brothers. There was a little nugget in there where, like, we grow up together. We're jungle Asian, you know, we're all in one big house and all of that, and we take care of each other. Can you tell us some of those stories of growing up and doing a little bit of that?
Well, you know, it's very Filipino, you know. Growing up, I always remember when we lived in Pittsburgh, our grandparents lived with us. And then at different times, certain uncles and aunts. And then when we moved down to Los Angeles to chase our dreams, we lived with my aunt. And then we just had, you know, it was just always a big welcoming tribe. You know, my mom took in a lot of our cousins, and they stayed with us, and they were part of the art for a while, whether they were part of our dance group or whether they were part of our acting classes, and they tried to do it for a while. And the thing about this acting game and dancing or anything being in this industry, it's really about just longevity and staying with it, because you're going to hear no so many times. We've heard no so many times, and it's just, we're still here. We're still standing. And, you know, it's like, you know, we talk about the debut. The debut happened 20 years ago, and people were like, man, there should have been a debut too. What happened to you guys? We thought you guys were going to be big stars after that. Well, you know, Hollywood wasn't writing roles for us. You know what I mean? And we thought debut was going to break the thing. And we've all done different roles here and there. We've had chances to, you know, guest star on TV shows and do other movies. But it wasn't until recently that when Dante wrote this film with my brother Darian, and then Dion and Ariana came in and they helped polish it up, that we did this, that, you know, it's really about creating your own thing and putting it out there, you know, because they're not necessarily writing the stuff for us. You know, because we were talking about representation earlier, you know, in our town, we saw like the mayor, we saw, you know, all the different people in town, the policemen, you know, the priest, everyone was Filipino. So it was like, it wasn't nothing you could do. But we didn't see, though, was actors on screen, you know what I mean? And we didn't see musicians necessarily. We didn't see entertainers, you know. So now what's great about today is you have a plethora of artists out there, from like Joe Coy and Edwin Santos, all these people, you know, comedians. And now there's also a lot of people behind the scenes that we're meeting that may be like a sound guy or a makeup person, and they're like, it's because of debut and we saw you guys that we got into this industry. So it's not just people in front of the camera, it's people behind the camera as well, which is awesome.
Hell yeah. And you got a whole crew of Pinoys out here on the East Coast, man. I'm telling you, who've you all inspired, man. So again, man, I'm gonna be thanking you a whole lot during this podcast, man.
No, that's all right. I'm gonna hook you up with my cousin. My cousin just moved to DC.
Okay.
And he's an anchor, but I don't know what he went out there. He shoots too. He's a director. And he's out there. So I'm gonna hook you guys up after the show. I'll give you his information.
Yeah, we
Hell yeah.
We want to catch them all.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I would love that. Let's do that. So beautiful, man. So let's talk about since we brought it up, man. Actually preceding the debut, I want to get actually a little bit as you were, because it's a weird combination of trying to pursue your dreams and also going to school. And so I'm curious that if what we saw a little bit of in the debut with your character of just dropping knowledge of juggling, and I asked this to Dante as well, juggling education while at the same time pursuing your dreams and all that. And to me, when I saw your character in the debut and just the knowledge dropper that you were, I'm like, man, I wonder, that was a long time question I've always had. Cause you was that like, can I attribute that to Gene and John, the writers on the debut, or did you already like come with that knowledge? Like you were like learning for yourself?
No,
beyond all that.
I did not. Actually, the guy that I played, Edwin, there's a real guy. He's an activist. His name was Edwin. And they wrote it based on him. And Edwin, he actually wanted to play the role. And they're like, well, we're going to hire an actor. And so they got me. But when I found out there was a real guy, I went and I hung out with him and I talked to him. And I really just had to get his feel on how he was. You know what I mean? Because everyone actually knows someone that's like that. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Everyone has a kuya or a friend. And yeah, so it's like, damn, don't get Kuya P started. Once you get it started on something, he's going to drop the knowledge and he's going to lay it on you. So that's how I felt that character was. It's like, he was very sure of himself and what he felt and his brown pride. And he was very educated at the same time. So it wasn't just a superficial thing. So he could tell you about the Filipinos, the Manongs, that they're the ones who are really responsible for starting this whole the labor dispute with the farmers, And as we studied that, you really discovered that, oh my God, that the Mexicans, Cesar Chavez was really reluctant to come on board. It wasn't until Filipinos were really getting killed that Larry Itliong went and said, look, this is what's happening and we need you. And then he came on board and that became the face of the whole labor movement. Exactly. So history is often written from that perspective, which isn't bad. It's a great thing to honor, but the Filipino part of it often will get lost. And I love that there's a lot of younger generations, especially out here, that lived in Bakersfield and those areas that are trying to get their grandparents' stories. I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm sorry, my watch is going off. And having their grandparents' stories told,
Awesome. So I was curious. So like with that being said, because you played a character with that, and you talked with Edwin. Did you connect with that? Like more so? I
did.
Growing young man,
I really did. And talking to him and doing my research as an actor, like I had no idea about all of those things in history. You know what I mean? Because that's not what we learned in school. Exactly. So as I started looking at it and researching it, I was like, wow, this is part of my history. This is part of my ancestors. And we were a big part of this. So then it made me wonder too, like, what other parts of history have we been erased from? You know what I mean? So it has piqued my interest, and I haven't always had a chance to look into our history, but who knows? That's the beauty about this, about art. And when you take on a project, it allows you to be really focused and to do research in those areas, and learn something new. And that's the best, when you can find something new about yourself and about your culture and your family.
Exactly.
So how would you describe a young Derek Basco?
Oh man, my younger self?
Yeah.
So I was a really good Catholic boy. You know what I mean? I did everything my parents told me to do. And then probably at about 15, 16, I rebelled. And I was like, you don't let me go out. I don't get to do nothing, blah, blah, blah. And then I totally rebelled and we moved to LA and then I got my girlfriend pregnant. So then I was a young father trying to, just trying to, the thing is like, I was an artist, but I wasn't really claiming that I was an artist. Do you know what I mean? So my parents said, you got to go to school. So then I went to college, Long Beach State, to study business because I didn't know what I wanted to do necessarily. I mean, in my heart, I think I knew that I was an artist, but I was just fighting it, and the responsibilities of being a parent and this and trying to do everything right. So to be honest with you, it wasn't really until I was in my 40s that I really came into myself and my power. So when I look back at a younger Derek Basco, I see a young man who had a lot of potential, but didn't have a lot of faith in himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or confidence, So it just took a lot of life experience, I think, for me to come full circle to claim all of that.
So what would you tell a young cat that if at this point in your life, what would be the life lesson we want to pull right now that to a young cat watching this? And
what would you tell a younger person, like a younger Derek?
What would you tell your daughter about?
Oh,
well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing now. It's so funny you say that because all the things that I'm telling. So I got 4 kids. My oldest, he works in the medical field, but his dream is music. He's an amazing guitarist and songwriter. So I was like, how do I help him with his dream and help all of my kids? So my Ella, everyone knows who Ella is. Ella J. Bachman, she played Cassandra Cain in Birds of Prey. So my kids are all artists too. And it's really, my wife and I talk about it. Whatever they want to pursue, we would support it. So really it's about supporting their dreams. And like, if you really want to do this, if you say you want to do it, then let's do it. So I hooked up my son with my oldest daughter, and they've been putting out music regularly, like as far as making it. Like we just shot a music video, and it's like, well, we don't have the money to shoot it. And that's a lot of people will say that I don't have the money or the resources. I got an iPhone. So we shot her last music video, which we just dropped a couple of days ago on her iPhone. You know what I mean? So we shot on the iPhone and we're dropping it and it's all in Korean, this new song. So she's like trying to identify with her roots and make it specific to her because her mom's Korean. So we have a Filipino song and now we have a Korean song. And so my advice to my kids is like, if you're going to do this, don't half-ass do it. Really, really do it, and seek the mentors. Yes. Pinch her again. Really do it.
It's getting me. You're getting me right. You're getting me good.
and seek the mentors, the people that excel in what they do and duplicate what they do. You know what I mean? So what are their successful habits? So I noticed for my kids, it's like for instance, my daughter Ella, I don't have to tell her to practice guitar or piano. She just naturally goes and plays for like 3 hours a day. And then she's like, Daddy, I got a new song. And sometimes I'm so busy, I can't hear it right now, but then I have to make sure I go later on and honor her and her artistic endeavors and say, okay, let me hear it, And sometimes some songs are great. And sometimes some songs are just like, okay, we need to work on it. This here needs improvement, that and whatever, but it's all product, so to speak. It's a matter of just like doing it, picking up your guitar, picking up your camera, whatever it is, and just going out and do it. And it's so funny because someone asked me recently, about them auditioning. And the thing about it is like, we get a lot of sides and audition and scripts in. And just from reading it, a lot of times I can read it and say, oh, they're going to go white on this, or, oh, they're going to go black on this, or, oh, they're going to go way older. They're going to go cast someone 18 to play 15. You know what I mean? Just because the content of it all. And I see that. And instead of saying, oh, we're going to pass on it, we'll work on it for 2 to 6 hours practicing it, so that when an opportunity comes, like Birds of Prey, she's been doing it over and over again. So when I say, okay, let's do this, baby, let's read this here. Oh no, here, this part here, you got to get emotional and you have to, you know, get angry at the person. And she's already gotten angry on, you know, 30 parts that she wasn't right for, but the one that she's right for, she's able to execute it now because she's been practicing it and she's been doing it. And we didn't look our noses down on anything. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, we have a chance to act and show people how we do things. We're going to show them how we do it. Even though I already know in my mind the way Hollywood works, they're not going to cast her. You know what I mean? But when the time comes, you're ready. You know what I mean? And so like for us too, we have like all these songs lined up and we're releasing them slowly. But if someone comes and says, hey, what else you got? Oh, well, we got these other 10 songs. And what else you got? Oh, well, she got a script written and this and that. Then they're going to want to mess with you because then they go, oh, you're really an artist. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not someone that's just waiting around for an opportunity or something. It's like a martial artist too. Oh, yeah. You know, someone that's practicing their forms every day. Then when they get in a fight, it's just like, it's natural. Whereas if you say I'm a martial artist, but you don't practice, and then all of a sudden, you know, someone comes and you get your ass whooped.
I love it. You got to be ready. You got to do that homework.
Don't get your ass kicked.
Don't get your ass kicked.
That's it, right in it.
There we go.
Even as an actor, because, you know, there's been times when I haven't been ready and I got my ass kicked as an actor. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You come out of the audition room, you're like, damn, I sucked, you know?
Yeah.
And there are times when I didn't want to go on an audition and you go, and then that audition turns out to be something bigger, to something else. And you go, oh, wow, see? So you shouldn't necessarily, oh, you know, if it's your time, you get a time to shine and show people what you can do. We just do it, you know?
Exactly. So very true, man. Real talk. I love it. Yeah. Lessons right there. Do your homework, put in the work. Before I forget, I don't want people to think, because we talked a little bit of debut and then we kind of went off of it. I do want to give some more debut nuggets for the people watching. Yeah, you dropping knowledge, you learn about your boy Edwin. You worked with him. You brought this amazing character to life in there. You got to work with your brothers. One scene in particular, because I know you're a dancer. You got to do some Tininkling dancing, my man. And I have to say, beautiful representations of Tininkling on cinema that I've ever seen. And you did it big, man. You did it wonderful. Can you talk a little bit about how that came together? Was that a lot of previous Filipino cultural nights with the family prior to that? And I'm sure a lot of, you know, training right before you did that. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, so growing up in the Bay Area, I was part of a cultural dance group. And we did a lot of Filipino dances, and we went out to different areas and performed. And I had totally forgotten about that. You know what I mean? And your life experiences, you're constantly drawing upon them. So when it came to the debut, and we actually did this dance, it's called the Singkil, which was like, it was crossed, you know what I mean? The bamboo sticks, it was like an X, and which was more tough. And there was a dance crew out here. This guy, Joel Asinto, he brought his dance crew and they practiced with us for like a month. And we did, and they had all the costumes, and we shot that scene. And, you know, we would shoot all day the film, and then we'd wrap, and then we'd have another 2-hour dance rehearsal afterwards. So we were working extra hours, anyone who had to dance, even the hip hop dancers. And I was like, can I do that too? And they're like, that's not your character. Your character wouldn't do that. Your character's going to do the other dancing. But I really did enjoy doing that. And we worked really hard on that. And the girl, Bernadette Balactas, who was the girl that did it with me, she plays Rose. She actually sprained her ankle. And so we had a double for sometimes, but sometimes she had to do a close-up and she had to like stomp her heel. And if you really watch the film, sometimes when she's stomping her heel, you can see like the pain on her face. It looks like drama, like she's acting. But if you really know her in the scene, she was like in pain. She like had to hit her heel. She was like, you know. But we had a lot of fun doing that. And you know what's funny? I'm talking about the debut. Gene, I met Gene when he was in film school, and I did the trailer, his student thesis project, the debut with him. And I played the same character. And then my brother Dante took over and he got the lead character of Ben. But I've been with Gene for a long time through the development of this whole thing. And then when John Castro came on, and then Patricio, you know, and then my brother Darian and I just did Lumpia with Patricio, Lumpia 2. So the roots and the crossover goes deep over here, you know.
Yeah, man, it's so connected. Like all of those cats, AJ, just seeing just that tapestry. Man, I wish we had something like that on the East Coast. I love it, man. It's familia, man. Y'all stay together, y'all grow together, y'all help each other. I love it. It's beautiful. I also want to talk about the basketball scene, man, because y'all are brothers. Y'all playing against each other. Who's the best hooper out of y'all, man? Come on now.
Well, I gotta say, you know, my other two brothers are more athletic, Darian and Dion. They're more athletic. They like dominate on the sports end. But Dante and I, we get lucky sometimes, you know. Don't count us out, you know.
Yeah.
We just on Easter we were playing. We had our Easter thing, and then we had like a family competition. And it was like who can make the most free throws, you know, and they like wrote us off, and I made 4 out of 5,
hey!
You know.
Yeah, you got to keep that oldest sibling,
exactly,
you know, credit echelon, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Who's the horse king? Who can knock it? Who's the best of the horse?
I say Dion and Darian, you know,
Okay.
but like I said, on any given day, Dante or I could win.
That's what I'm saying.
Gene was smart because he listened to us, because we said, okay, if we're going to play basketball, we need a basketball coach. So they brought a basketball coach on. And that was another thing we did too, is that we played basketball, I don't know, and we ran plays for probably like a month, you know, just to get that down, you know. And then when we brought in the other people, like some of them were our cousins, some of them were other extras, and they're like, okay, this is the choreography. They're like, no, man, I could really shoot. It's like, yo, man, we're shooting a movie. You got to play your part where you get like driven on and the guy scores on you.
Oh, man, I love it. That was beautiful, man. Yes, just classic moments, man. The debut is a classic Filipino piece, man. Ball, you know, the cultural nights, dancing, man. You know, it was our representation, man. So again, we thank you for that. And it should have been the film that really helped spark us, along with such other amazing films that dropped that year. Better Luck Tomorrow, Joy Luck Club. I don't know if it was the same year, but you know, at that moment in time, we were really getting that representation. But because, you know, the powers that be in Hollywood weren't us, you know, it didn't work out that way. But we're starting to change that grind. We're making that happen now. And I think Fabulous Filipino Brothers is going to take it to a whole nother level. Go ahead, man.
I hope it will, you know.
Yeah.
And now that, you know, a lot of stuff, there's the internet, and, you know, YouTube blew the whole thing out of the water.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole mold. And and even now it's like, you know, if you got so many followers, that means that you're bankable, you know. So there are kids out there all over the world that are doing their channels and doing their things and creating things. And if you get enough people, you know, following you, you know, you can get stuff made. You know what I mean? You just got to keep doing it, keep doing it.
Exactly. And what's amazing, so much of it is us. You know, there's a lot of Pinoys out there, big TikTokers, big, man. Like my daughter's like, man, do you know who Bretman Rock is? Because I was working on getting him lined up for an interview, and I'm like, yeah, I know who he is. And like, okay, but yeah, it's coming up, and we're gonna be out there more. And the spirit is bright, so it's something we can look ahead to in a positive light, despite a lot of the, you know, the things that are going on right now currently with our world and people, the violence that are being, you know, put onto us. So anyway, I just want to put out that inspiring message right there, that there's more we can look forward to. And cats like you, man, who've been legends in the game, you're still here, you're still doing it. And I think you're about to have a whole nother renaissance, especially when the wider masses can see Fabulous Filipino Brothers, man, because it's a classic, bro. It's a classic. So you went, for transitioning from debut, you know, going back into you as a young actor, but then, you know, you got your lady pregnant, and then you went to college, you got responsible. What was kind of like this gap in between that time of, you know, not getting stuff because they weren't giving it to us, and then you went to get your education? How did DJing and all that come into play to just kind of, you know, take care of family and just, you know, progress for yourself? Well,
you know, a lot of people are hustling out here, and you're hustling. And then it was like, you know, when you're not acting, you're doing all these other jobs. And then I was like, why? I could do that, you know? So then I went to my sister and she loaned me the money to buy all my gear. And then I just started doing it. You know what I mean? And right or wrong, because sometimes, you know, like people are like, well, why are you investing your energy in that? You could invest it in making a movie or a TV show or a song. And I was like, I need something that I can just like have money coming in. And that's how that kind of progressed. And then I borrowed money again from my sister. And I bought a photo booth when that was starting to pop off. You know, I bought that like 7 years ago. And then that was doing really well. And then I got another one. So like I had 2 DJ setups and 2 photo booths. And it was just about me being able to still have an income coming in and not give up my art. Because what happens a lot of times is like you get torn as an artist, like you have an audition, but you got to be at work. So how can you do both? You know what I mean? It's like you got the guaranteed money in hand from going to work, or if you go to this audition, which if you book it, it could be a national commercial and you could get residuals, or it could be a part that propels you and this and that. So part of me starting that DJ business for me and the photo booth business was me just kind of taking control over my career and saying, look, I can have both. I can have everything. I can have this income coming. So then I would hire my actor friends. And if I had to go for an audition, I knew I could rely on them doing that. It does get hard when you book a job out of town. Cause like I was in Buffalo, New York, shooting the Purge movie, it's called the First Purge. And I was out there and I had gigs lined up. So I was on set, like making sure my DJs were at their corporate events and whatnot. So I'm on the phone, I'm on set. They're like, we need you. And I was like, hold up. And I'm talking to my client, and my DJ, who's my cousin, wasn't there. And I'm calling him and said, look, man, I told you all you got to do is you got to be there an hour and a half beforehand. You got to be responsible. You know, they don't care if you're good. You know, the fact that you're good is a bonus. All they really cared about was that you're on time, you know? And so that's what it's so funny because we were talking about being on time earlier, Michael, you know, Patrick.
Yeah.
And I try to be early all the time just because you don't know what's going to happen. Traffic, technical issues. And I have a lot of technical issues with this Zoom thing. So I wanted to make sure I worked it out. But the DJing thing, I'm not the greatest. I'm not a mixed DJ. I tell people I'm more of an events DJ. And so I do a lot of corporate gigs. I do a lot of like law firms and buildings. I'll do like a tenant event for like 2,000 people and I'll keep everyone entertained, you know? So that's my specialty. I found my niche in there.
Okay. With knowing that, I got it. My wife handles a lot of events and stuff. So I might have to put her on to you and all that, especially with events out that way. So definitely. Okay.
Oh yeah. Shit, if you guys come out this way, let me know, you know?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Once we all got the vaccine, there's a lot of trips I'm going to be making out that way. Cause you know, like I said, we doing it big. Our people are coming together. We're squadding up. It's beautiful. I love it. So
yes.
Amazing.
I
man.
love
and
the
that
First
makes
Purge, by the way. That's a great movie. Did you enjoy working on a horror movie?
I did. I had a lot of fun. You know, it was interesting because we shot at night a lot of times, and the buildings that we shot in, people live there. And we're doing like, you know, 300 squibs at one time with the guns. People coming down, like my baby's sleeping and blah. I was like, whoa, it's crazy, you know. It was fun though.
Damn.
It was a lot of fun, but it was long. You know, it's not as glamorous. People think it's very glamorous, but you know, it's a lot of waiting around on set. You know, and you're sleeping. And they go, okay, it's your turn. And you got like, okay, I'm up. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, I got the shotgun. Oh, I'm gonna get shot now. Okay, you know. Yeah. So
that's cool.
I love it. So what do you love most about acting, and what would you impart to a young us, you know, us young Filipinos that, you know, gonna get disheartened because you got to get used to no's. You know, like you said, man, I've gotten so many no's in my years, but you turn it into fuel, or you find other outlets and keep yourself busy. You got into DJing. Myself, I'm doing this podcast right now. to just keep this
Mhm.
that vibe and that energy to just kind of keep that communication and that love going on and working that muscle. What would you say to a young cat out there as well that may not be getting these calls, and what keeps that love for you, Derek?
For me, I got kids, so
Yeah, I
it's
gotta feed
like,
them.
well, not just that, but we collaborate. They're artists themselves, you know what I mean? So they're constantly bringing me things. Like my youngest daughter, she wants to be a director. So over quarantine, we shot 10 commercials that she directed. And then my daughter Ella edited. So Ella got savvy on her editing. My youngest daughter got savvy on directing. Like we would storyboard it, we would shoot it, and we would shoot it for things like McDonald's, Hershey's, all these different things. And then the company started reaching out. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let us send you some candy, or oh, let's this blah blah blah. And then for the soundtracks, I got my oldest son to write, the score, to write like jingles and stuff like that. So he wants a job in the music industry. So I was like, here. All of a sudden now you got 10 commercial songs as a resume. You know what I mean? So without them really realizing what they were doing, they all got like resumes. You know what I'm saying? Like product, like they could show people like, this is what I do. This is what I've done. So that was my hope with my daughter, is that she would have 10 commercials that she could say, this is what I've directed so far, and now we're trying to work on some short films with her. So really it's about product. Really anything, it's product. Just keep producing. Even if you think this one isn't good, do that one, do the next one, do the next one, do the next one. But after a while you realize, and that's how I gained confidence as an artist too, is like, oh, I've done this show. Oh, I've done that show. Oh, I've acted opposite some of the best people. You know what I mean? Oh, I've done this. I've done that. I can do that. You want to hand me sides right now? I can read them. I can be ready. Of course, I would like more time to do it, but I can be ready. You know what I mean? So my advice would be is to do it. Really, you want to be a writer, then write. There's so many. You have friends. People have friends that they'll read it. They'll act in it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Pick up your iPhone. It's so accessible now. You know what I mean? Like I often think about it when YouTube started to pop off. One of my boys, he was one of the first ones. He's like, we're gonna make this thing Team Good Life, and we're gonna put out videos. And we all looked at him like he was crazy, but he was onto something. You know what I mean? We that game We was big at the time.
Yeah.
So he did a spoof on.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Trying to make me go to Wehab. Instead of rehab, it was all about Wehab. And we were playing the video game, and we were all addicted. And he only put out one video, but had he keep putting them out, he would have been, like one of the YouTube founders. But being old school, we're like, no, I gotta hire a cinematographer. We got to do it on film, and there were too many stops for us. You know what I mean? So now it seems like you got an iPhone. Everyone's got iMovie. There's so many things you can do that you could just make it happen. And then you don't know what's going to hit, what people are going to identify with. Just like with people making videos, you don't know what's going to go viral. And all of a sudden that's your shot. And they go, well, what else you got? And if you have a library of things online, then people start digging you up. You know what I mean? And they say, oh, well, they also did this and he did that. So just keep making that product is my thing,
Definitely. I love it. And another thing I want to talk on, because again, we celebrate our Philippine culture here. With you being, like I said, one of our icons is our Filipino versions of the Jacksons as a Basco. And we touched upon it a little bit with debut, and like you said, learning your character. How have you connected as I'm gonna take this on a father angle, because I'm trying to teach my daughter as much as I can about our culture, but then also she's Black, my wife's Black, and I'm Filipino, so we're teaching her about African American history. With you, you said earlier, I never knew this, that your wife is Korean. How are you teaching, and you and your wife going about teaching her both sides of herself, and acknowledging both sides of herself and loving both sides of herself?
Well, family in Filipino culture is very important. So, and it's also in Fabulous Filipino Brothers. So we're constantly around family, and sometimes too much, as you know what I mean? Like, it's like every night's a party, you know, it's crazy. My neighbors are like, are they having a party? No, it's just a small gathering of 20 people, just family, you know, and it really is just family. You know what I mean? But exposing them to both sides of our families, you know, a lot of my wife's family, they don't speak English. So when we go around them, they pick up Korean, you know. My wife cooks a lot of Korean food. I cook the Filipino food, chicken adobo, my specialty, you know. My daughter even put that in the song. Chicken adobo is my dad's specialty in the Filipino song. You know, she talks about grandma's lumpia and all this. And, you know, you don't realize the culture that you're getting until they visit, like their other friends who aren't Filipino, or when their friends who aren't Filipino come over and they go, wow, this is crazy. My family's not like this. You know what I mean? With, you know, the karaoke going on and the aunties screaming. And then, like, you know, anyone that new comes in, they get grilled. Like, where are you from? What do you do for a living? How do you know them? Are you a good person? You know what I mean? All the questions that the aunties and everyone asks. So I think it's just about the way we live our lifestyle, that we impart our culture to our children. And of course, we want to take them back home to the Philippines and Korea. But we haven't had that opportunity yet. And now with the COVID, you know, so hopefully after everyone gets vaccinated within a year or two, we can all get out there so they can experience it for themselves.
I love that. That's goal. I've never been to our homeland yet. That's one of my major goals, is to visit the islands. So that's beautiful, man. I want to go ahead and get this one out the way because it can be a little bit depressing, but it also is important with what's right now. As an Asian actor and with what's going on, with the world right now, and you being a father, you know, us both being fathers, and we're raising our next generation. What have you said to them with you know, the occurrences right now in the world with a lot of the Asian anti-Asian hate going on, and the violence towards our communities, in particular our elders and our women? And you're raising a young woman as well, like I am. What do you tell them about with what's going on and how to protect themselves? Because it's a scary world right now. I've been, you know, with you as like the older, the kuya, as us as the big kuyas, we've got to be strong and impart knowledge when they come to us. But at the same time, it hurts, man, because we can only do so much. Because they're not going to do it around us big kuyas. You know, they're
not.
You know, they're scared.
They're not. You know, I think we try to lead by example, you know, and it's a fine line, because you don't want to have them live in fear. You know what I mean? You don't want them to make themselves less or to go around scared. You know what I mean? But there is definitely a threat out there. And we live in the city. So it's like my kids are they're street savvy. You know what I mean? Like, they might go to a charter school where, you know, there might be more affluent people there. But where we play our sports is in the city park, which is predominantly, you know, African American and Latino, and you know, it's so my kids can go between the, you know, the street kids and to the other kids. They can hang with both. So it's really about how they carry themselves and knowing their self-worth, I think, and not to make themselves less or be ashamed of who they are. And they don't get, you know, it's funny today. In today's age, they don't get made fun of as much as we did when we were kids. Like, I remember when we were kids, we heard a lot of ching chong chings and, like, you know, go back to where you will come from. And you think you wouldn't hear that now, but it's still out there, and we'll experience it once in a while. But, you know, I think the advantage my kids have over me is they're more confident in who they are, and they know who they are. And if there's something wrong, and it doesn't have to be a racial thing, it could be anything. If there's any, you know, injustices, my kids are often the first ones to speak up and say, that's not right. You know what I mean? So I think that came in our upbringing and just the way we lead our lives. But you have to be vigilant and aware of everything that's going on. You know what I mean? So part of being an actor is the study of people. You know what I mean? So sometimes if we go out like for a yogurt or something like that, we'll be out and we'll watch people and we'll talk about what's that person doing and look at them, look at the way they're walking. What does that tell you about them? So I think that's a little bit of advantage that they could see, kind of like if we're out in public, you know, if that person over there is walking weird or that has, you know, is looking at you, you know, they don't seem right, just cross the street. You know what I mean? Avoid the whole contact. And you do it in a way that's not like, oh, I'm scared, I'm running across the street. You're just like, I'm just gonna walk over there. You know what I mean? So I think their acting has come into play in that sense where they can spot out behavior and just really being prideful about who you are, but not being arrogant about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's real talk, man. And I just want to say from Kuya to Kuya, because you know it's hard, you know, when they come to us and we've got to kind of, you know, be strong for them, but at the same time we're hurting as well. So man, I love you for holding up your side of things, and from Kuya to Kuya, you know, we got to support each other and love each other, man, because it's hard right now, but I appreciate you staying strong for your family and for the rest of our Kabayan, man, because it's a hard time right now. It's a hard time right now. So yeah, that's out the way, man, because it's just important. I wanted to be said. I've been doing that a lot in recent interviews because I think we need that talk there. But
we do. And so I talk about it, you know, I talk about it with my kids and they're incorporating it in their art. So excuse me, my daughter Ella, she wrote a song and we asked Ruby to guest on it. And the song is called Gold, and it's all talking about being prideful of your golden skin, you know what I mean? And not being ashamed of it. And, you know, especially here in Cali, like people talk about California girls and the blonde girls and the tan, whatever. But it's really about her claiming her pride. And then Ruby, bringing Ruby along was like that as well. So we just shot a music video for it, which we're going to drop in May for Asian American History Month. And it's going to be controversial because we're touching on topics. We shot a little commercial in the beginning of it. I don't want to give too much of it away right now, but it's going to drop in May, and it talks about how a lot of Filipinos and actually all over the world, you know, Indians, Latinos, blacks, how skin whitening soap. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
It's like if you go to the Philippines, it's hard to find regular soap that's not skin whitening, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that they sell to brown people, like lighten your skin, you know what I mean? And so that we shot a little thing on that's going to be pretty controversial for this Gold video that stars Ella and Ruby, and that'll come out in May. So they have a voice, you know what I mean? And then they're trying to put it out there. Like my daughter, she wrote this song. It's called the 2020 song. We didn't record it and put it on Spotify, but it's on our YouTube channel, and it talks about all the things that happened last year, you know what I mean? And how our president didn't lead us and all these different things that tragedies that had happened. So that was her way of expressing herself about what's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with all this AAIP hate, you know, and violence that's going on. And I really feel like it's almost like our Lolos and Lolas, Titas and Titos that we have to look out for, because they're not always as aware, you know what I mean, as far as what's going around them. And they've been the victims, the predominant victims of these hate crimes, you know. So if we can get them to be aware, a little bit more aware as far as their surroundings, or if we can escort them, like, you know, if they got to go to the store, take your mom or grandma or aunt to the store, you know. I think there's strength in numbers, and people don't attack us when, you know, when there's like a few of us together.
Exactly. You're so right, man. My mom lives in the South along with my dad. Luckily, they both go out together, but I tell my mom, because she likes to just go out. She's too nice. You know how, you know, those, the older generation, way too nice, man. Like, nah, you got to pull back. You got to be smart. But yeah, real talk there. And shout out to your daughter, Ella, man. I love that track. And I've been hitting up Ruby. Ruby, answer our calls. We want to have you on the show too. We love you. But I'm looking forward to that track. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, hype. We'll definitely.
Maybe we'll get Ella and Ruby on together.
Hey, bruh, let's make it happen. I love it. Real talk. Thank you so much. Yeah, we gonna make that happen. And with that being said, in regards to representation, I wanted to ask you a question as an actor, and you know, we play these roles, and sometimes we get roles, sometimes we don't, but sometimes we also get a role where they say, nah, you don't need to do an accent. And then later on you're getting on set and they like, okay, we want you to do the accent. Have you ever just had a role that you kind of felt uncomfortable with when they kind of played us into a stereotypical fashion?
Well, see, I try to flip it and say, if you want an accent, the only accent I do is Filipino. So I'm gonna make it Filipino, and then all my Filipino people are gonna go, "Oh, he's Filipino," you know. So you want me to do an accent? I'm doing Filipino.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every role I play, I try to make it as Filipino as possible, you know. But because of our skin tone, I mean, even Filipinos come up to me and they go, you know, gracias. You know, they think I'm Latino sometimes, which is not bad. You know, the Philippines was conquered by Spain, conquered by Japan, conquered by the Chinese. So the Portuguese, and there's so many mixes of blood in there. It's like we are kind of like the chameleon of actors. And I really wish they would allow us to play more things. You know what I mean? The thing that I get sad about most is that there's a lot of parts that are written Filipino specific, but then they don't always cast it Filipino because they say they can't find the actors.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah.
Oh, we couldn't find anyone like this, so we're gonna hire a Korean guy or a Chinese guy, which I don't hate on that. They all need to work too, but it's like of the few parts that are Filipino centric written, it's like we're out there, man. You just gotta find us. You know, give us an opportunity. There's so many actors out there of Filipino descent that could do this.
Real talk. Yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head. I hate that. And it most recently happened with Raya. Yeah, I'm sure you know what went down with Raya, with the original actress they cast. We love Kelly Marie Tran, but it would have been nice to have seen, I forgot her name, Filipino Canadian actress that was originally cast. But yeah, the conversation is happening, and there were so many groups that sprouted on Facebook. And actually, if you're not involved with them, Derek, I'd love to put you on them, where, you know, a bunch of us Southeast Asian actors were getting together. We got also some Filipinx groups, you know, we're building that community to thrive. And so that stuff is happening. But you're right. You're thriving right now, though, my man, with
you know, it's ups and downs. It's like this,
True.
You know, it's like that all the time. It's like, you know, we just keep doing our things, and if you keep doing it, you get lucky sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, because we audition all the time.
Yeah,
all the time, you know. But it's about creating it. So get those writers out there. Let's create the projects. That way we can work all the time instead of just auditioning.
Exactly. I got my scripts on the way, bro. I'm working on let me do this for the ladies so they can take this off the ShoPowSho bingo. I got my Battle of Mactan story in the works, talking about Datu Lapu Lapu, all of that, killing Magellan, that colonizer. And what else did I miss, Kat and Tina? I'm also
don't forget who's gonna play
Chavi de Guzman. Shout out to my boy Chavi, Lapu Lapu with that glorious hair, and Oscar Isaac is Magellan. And then, man, you know what? I think Derek could probably be the Datu. I'm gonna fuck up his name, but the Datu who wasn't trustworthy, man. You gave everything to Magellan, bro. Maybe you.
Man, I thought you were gonna say Datu Putik. You were gonna call me Vinegar.
but you know the story of Lapu Lapu, Derek. That's the story I want to bring to life, man. That's our Black Panther, I believe. You know, to stand up against the colonizers. I can't wait to make that happen. So that's in the works, man. But let's talk about the story your brothers wrote, man. Fabulous Filipino brothers. Again, like I said, you steal it, man. Your whole family put in work. You all put in work, and it is, to me, the best representation of the Filipino American experience we've had thus far, especially because it is, you know, coming from the male point of view, as a Filipino male, Filipino American male, you know, growing up in our various, you know, intricacies. I think you and your brothers captured it full well with you as the reliable one, with your brother Dante as the lucky one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your brother Dion as the crazy one, and then Darian the depressed one. You know,
yeah.
And he comes through. It was an amazing film. I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't watched it. The Ates haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, what can you tell us about it, Derek?
Exactly.
Well, you know, the thing is, all the stories in there are based on true family stories. They're mixed around a little bit, you know, but you know, the original fabulous Filipino brothers were my dad and his brothers. So we're all playing them and us at the same time. So the stories mix around. But what was really nice, it was an ode to our town, Pittsburg, that I talk about, where we grew up. And the town actually came out and supported us, you know. So all of the people on the things are there, like either our aunties or people that we grew up with, that seeing them. So there was an emotionality, a depthness that we got just by being around all of them. You know what I mean? So they really supported us, and it was a love story to Pittsburg and our upbringing, you know. And Pittsburgh really welcomed us with open arms. Like, we didn't have permits necessarily to shoot some scenes, and we were driving around, and I got rolled up on by the cops, and he's like, what are you guys shooting? And I was like, we're shooting a movie. He goes, what's the name of the movie? I go, it's Fabulous Filipino Brothers. I said, it's our love story to Pittsburgh, to put Pittsburgh, California on the map. He was like, dope. And he was like, are you Filipino? And I go, yeah. He goes, are you fabulous? I go, yeah. And then he goes,
yeah.
Then you're my brother.
So what was that like, man? You know, your brothers put it down when they introduced you to the concept that they were going to do this story about your family. How was that for you as the oldest, hearing that they put this together?
They kept talking about it. Dante kept talking about it, and Darian, and I was like, yeah, do it. And, you know, I wasn't able to help out on the pre-production side of it that much, and the writing and all that, because, like I said, I was managing my kids' careers. We were doing auditions. This one has an audition. Oh, that's 2 hours. This one has an audition. That's 2 hours. That one has an audition. And then I got mine. That's 8 hours of work already right there. You know what I mean? So when they brought it along, I was like, cool. And they told me the concept of each one's story. And they told me something about a cock and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, I go, okay, that's cool. How are we going to shoot it? And then we show up, and there's a real live cock that I had to hold. You know, like, sometimes you don't think it's real, but it's real. Every time you see me on camera with it, it's a real. They had a fake one. They said, we're going to use this fake one sometimes. They never use the fake one. They never use the fake one.
They tricked you.
They tricked me, yeah. And then they're like, okay, this is the scene. You guys, you're going to have a showdown with the thing and blah, blah, blah. And I said, and they told me what was going to happen. I said, okay, you know what? Don't talk about it more. Let's just do it. Let's see what we capture on camera. And let's see how it happens. So we go to do the scene, and they throw it at me, and I reacted. And what you see on camera, all that stuff is real. You know what I mean? It's all real. And I got a lot of chicken marks to show for it, where it picked at me and ate me, you know. And the guy who came with the chickens, one of them was the guy who lived across the street from us, Joe DeTorres, and the other one was my uncle, Alberto, and they're great. They knew everything about him. You know what I mean? They're like, hold him this way. Like, if you want him to like react, you gotta like do this to the we called it a chicken, but it was a rooster. You gotta do this to the chicken, and then they would do it, and then it would start pecking. I was like, oh, don't do that, you know. And they kept doing that and doing certain things. It was a lot of fun. But then also a funny thing is we had the SPCA. I don't know how you say it. The animal people there.
Yeah.
So we'll be shooting, and then the lady will go, cut, hold on. Chicken needs a break. And then we'd have to stop shooting for like 10 minutes for the chicken to go outside, get a drink of water, walk around. And I was like, wow, chicken got more clout than I do.
That's amazing.
But in the shooting, too, to get back to your question, you know, it was a lot of fun because, like, our parents played our parents. And I think this is the way productions are supposed to be. Like, we would shoot all day. And then afterwards, we would go to my aunt's house and then she would make a big Filipino dinner. And we'd all eat dinner and drink and laugh and have a good time. So it was like an extension of the day would go into the night. You know what I mean? And we'd party. And then probably around 10 o'clock at night, we'd go to like the house we were staying, and then we'd have to rehearse. So now my mom and dad are drunk. Everyone's, you know what I mean? And we're going to rehearse. and my mom and dad aren't memorizing their lines. And my dad said, hey, can I get more lines? And we're like, Dad, just work on the lines you got, you know.
No,
Then you show up.
Other lines.
So it was totally like a family party the whole time during shooting. And then you go to shoot, and then, you know, things happen. Someone their flight got canceled. So then now, oh, your jungle Asian scene is up right now. I said, what? I didn't work on that. You know what I mean? So then you have to come correct. You have to go, give me the lines. Let's go over it. You know, give me a couple runs at it. Let's go for it. Let's take it. And then I have to trust Dante. And he's like, no, go bigger. Go bigger. I said, bigger? He said, yeah, go bigger. Go. I was like, okay, I'm trusting you, man. Because I don't know if this works or not, but well, let's do it. So, you know, I'm throwing a tantrum saying, no, we're jungle Asians, you know. Our whole family lives together. That's how we are. We're Filipino, you know.
Man, it's classic. You can see the love all the way through the film with just like little touches of the home video, the pictures, in the room with Darion, you know, doing his thing. I don't want to give away spoilers, but there's like pictures of Ella on the wall and some of the other family members. What was it like or were you involved in any of that, like production and scene dressing where they set some of that stuff up? Or did that came some of your houses? Like
that came from our house. So our grandparents' house, it was a tract home, and we sold that house when both my grandparents passed. So we were lucky enough to find a family friend that had the exact same house as ours. So it felt like we were back in the house that we grew up in with our grandparents. And my kids were actually supposed to be in the film more. Only my youngest made it in, but they were all shooting stuff, so they couldn't come up. So, but at least that we could do was dress it with their pictures and have all of that family stuff there, you know. So yeah, I was involved in that part and helping to decorate some of that with our family photos and whatnot.
That's beautiful, man. What was it like when you all first saw it? So you wrapped the film, amazing film. I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. But after you put together such a project that is representation of your family, down to the very end when we see that last picture that you've already stated, where you played, you know, your father, your uncles and your father, and they have the picture of you guys standing behind them. That just again had me crying and bawling and just seeing love there, man. That was beautiful. What was it like for the family to see the finished product?
You know, with quarantine, it's tough right now because a lot of the family that was involved with it up north, they watched it via the South by Southwest app. And so we weren't there when they saw it. But when we saw it as a nucleus and we watched it again that day, you know, you get emotional. And, you know, of course, as an artist, you see things, you go, oh, I wish we would have reshot that or maybe edit that different. But, you know, that movie is what your art is, what it is for that time. And I think it's something very special to all of us, you know, because it does have like our real mom and dad in it. And it's not very often that we as brothers get to work together and not only work together, but then get to play family members. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we're like, even in the debut, like 2 were on that side, 2 were on this side, you know. But you know, it was really nice to watch it and see all our titas and titos and cousins and everyone in there. And it's almost like a family home video, you know, but exaggerated. It really was. So it was really nice to see that, you know, and I hope it's not the last. You know, we have other projects that hopefully after this takes off, we can, you know, get some of the other things funded and you'll see a lot more from us as well.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's so good. It's so good, y'all. Y'all need to check it when it comes widely available to everybody to see it, man. Please check this out. It's a classic, man. I'm telling you. Man, I want more. I want more of that. I want more of you. Again, I think, you know, I think you held it down and you steal your scenes and I think you all just put in such amazing work and I just want more. Yeah, I've been feeding since the debut. We finally got it with Fabulous Filipino Brothers. I want a spin-off reality show with you and you raising all your 4 kids and your daughter now shining. And you said your son getting into music. Like, that's a reality show, people. Like, can we get that over the Kardashians now that Kardashians is closing out? You know what I'm saying?
My wife doesn't want to be on camera though. That's the whole thing. So that's why it's not gonna work. She don't want to be on camera. She won't do anything. But I got a whole band. I mean, my kids call me Joe Jackson sometimes. They call me Joe Jackson because I got my one son. I got 2 sons and 2 daughters. My one son who's 12, he plays baseball, but he's learning drums. So I'm like, did you practice drums? He's like, yeah, I can play this beat now. And we're all about like Bruno Mars right now, the new tracks that he's got going on. Yeah, so excited. And then my youngest plays bass. So I got a bass player, a drummer. I got 2 guitarists. We got a whole Filipino band. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to Filipino Hanson. Let's do
it. Hell yeah. Y'all, man, y'all are just amazing, extremely talented. We can't wait for more. Is there anything you can talk about?
We know that Ella has the track dropping in May, but what else can we look forward to? Derek Basco and co.
I got a couple of things that I'm working on right now. Those damn NDAs. So maybe like in a year or 2, you'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. You know what I mean? But I got some pretty cool things that I'm working on. Hopefully they don't cut me out because you don't know how these things work. You do a project and then, it's up to the editing. Sometimes the story's too long or whatnot. But I feel pretty hopeful about this one that's coming up. I'm starting it this month. And then I have another project in a couple of months. But other than that, we're creating, we're writing scripts, we're writing music, my daughter's putting out music like at least 1 song a month, So between that and shooting the videos, it's like film school, So we're running our own little home film school. I don't necessarily think you have to go to school to do the things that you want to do. If you just seek out the masters, like for Ella, working on Birds of Prey was the best film school she could have gone to. Rosie Perez would give her acting lessons on set all the time. She's so friendly, so nice, like he hugs you whenever, and then you go to set and she's like, she's in the zone. Yeah. And she's like, don't mess with me. And some people might think she's not nice, but she's the most loveliest lady. It's just that she's in the zone where she needs to be to work. You know what I mean? And then Ewan McGregor, he and my daughter have these scenes, and then he's so nice and loving to her. And then when they go to shoot the scenes, my daughter's like, I was like, David, baby, no. See what he does? What he does before the scene, which you'll see, well, you don't see it, but before the scene, he goes like, rah, rah, like he gets himself worked up, so then he can be in the scene.
He's got to do the shake, yeah. He's got to do the shake.
The shake, yeah. So, everyone has different ways of working, and she got to see how each actor works. And another time she was with Margot, and I was like, yo, I can't believe how she got so emotional and this and that. And then my daughter looked at me and goes, Dad, they put that thing in her eye so she could cry all the time. I go, hey, I don't care if they put in her eye that she made me believe I thought she was really crying. You know what I mean? And so that's your job, is to which way you get there, you jeet kune do it, you find your way to make it happen. So
I love it.
Words of wisdom. All right. Well, we have one last question for you. We always like to end with, since we are the nerd. We like to have a little nerd check. So what is it that you are nerdy about? If we asked you to give a TED talk on a subject you are passionate about, what could you go ham on?
What am I nerdy about? I maybe I would talk about child raising, I'm not an expert on it. And my wife and I powwow on it every night. Like, were we too hard on them? Were we, are we messing them up? And we're like, doesn't matter what you do, which way you go, all our kids are going to end up in therapy. You just got to you got to make a decision.
So they can afford their therapy.
You just got to make a decision and go with it. And sometimes you're wrong and sometimes you're right. And if you're wrong, you just got to man up and tell them, hey guys, I was wrong on that.
I feel that.
I think that's probably what I would talk about. I would love to do a TED talk on fishing, but I'm not that great at it. I just love it, I'd love to be out on a boat fishing, even though I get seasick and throw up every time. It's just one of those things I love. So I would say, yeah, child rearing and fishing.
Okay. What's your best catch? What's your the best I don't know how to say this. Fishing.
Best catch.
The best catch, right?
Best catch.
I just being out on the water and like being with my kids or whoever I'm with and talking, that whole camaraderie, like, because you can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You're stuck on the water with someone for so long, and you gotta like hang out. You know, there's no, you know, even if you get sick, you're like, the boat's not going back for another 3 hours. You got to make do with it. You know. So I mean, I haven't caught that big of fish yet. You know, but I think just the experience of it. You know,
I feel that. I got a sidebar with that one. Oh, I'm sorry, Tina. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I get super seasick, but my dad's a fisherman, so like that's what me and my brother always did. We used to go out on the water with dad, and no matter how seasick I got, I still really look forward to those times. So
yeah, see, that's how I am too. Because my grandfather took me out a lot when I was a kid. So I think that's what it does too. I think it reminds me of my childhood and all of that.
Yeah, it's relaxing, man. I used to hate it as a kid because that's all my dad would do. But now it's like you know what I'm saying? Like I want to go play ball, Dad. I don't want to go out early in the morning at like 4 o'clock to catch fish. Like, nah, I want some sleep at that time. So I appreciate it.
You become your dad now. Now you want to go fishing.
Yeah, right. But to follow up with what we were saying in regards to like testing your gangster, I kind of have a sidebar one in regards to, since we have, you know, the Basco brothers in the house, you know what I'm saying? You and your brothers. Who of the four of you, what would be a particular strength in regards to like that's in the same context of the nerd check question that you have more of a specialty than the other three? I'm
confused. I don't know.
That's a convoluted question.
You hear what I'm saying?
Well, I understood it.
There we go. Okay.
I'm glad you can explain it to us.
Okay.
I understood it. I would say my expertise would be in relationships because I'm the only one that's married.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? Ooh. So like, no, not no diss or none.
No shade. No shame
or none. But like, you know, marriages, you know, they take work. You know what I mean? All relationships do. You know, it takes work, and you got to constantly create and be on the same page. You know, so I would say that relationships, you know, for better or for worse, I think I could give my point of view. Not that it's right, but I can give my point of view.
Are you ready to see them settle down?
Foundation for your lifestyle brand.
Love it.
Yes. Do you want?
Yeah, I'm ready for them. I'm ready for them to settle down.
Basco,
if they want to. Whatever, but it might not be
right for followers. We're there.
What? Oh, you're single? What? What's that?
Oh man, wait, me?
Yeah, titas are single, right?
I'm
one of the titas is.
I'm having the same feelings you are. I'm like, oh my God, am I messing him up right now? Like, am I parenting right? Are we doing the right thing? So I'm saying I need a Derek Basco daddy blog. Tell me if I'm doing it right.
Well, it's so funny because during the quarantine, I did like 100 days where I quarantined what we did for 100 days. And then after I stopped and people were like, why'd you stop? I go, it's a lot of work, you know, but people got to see what we were doing. Like I was letting my kids shave my hair and give me a mohawk. And then I would let them like dye it blonde. And people were like, why would you do that? And I was like, I just try to give them something to look forward to that's fun. And, you know, because otherwise we had nothing, you know, we were fortunate that we were like a big family and we all were together. But like a lot of people didn't have anyone. So we always had to create things to try to make it interesting. But yeah, you're messing them up. We're messing them up. You know, that's just, it's par for the course.
But again, right? We're getting them so that they can afford their therapies.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna scar you for life by taking away your video games, but you're gonna do well in school and you're gonna be able to afford therapy.
Yes.
That's my parenting style.
I love it. 10 out of 10.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Derek, where can we find and follow and get more Derek Basco news?
I'm on Facebook, Derek Basco. I'm on Instagram at Derek_Basco. I'm on Twitter, Derek Basco. Those are my socials. I'm on there sometimes, you know, dad stuff. You can follow me there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. It was great hanging out with you guys. Drinking vodka.
Yeah, I love it.
Insights.
No, I wasn't.
Amazing.
It's water.
We love you, man. We appreciate you. Can't wait to you know, if there's anything else in the future you got coming up, we'd love to have you on to talk. We'd love to have Ella on and hopefully shoot Ella and Ruby on at the same time. And just we're gonna celebrate the amazing Bascos because, man, like I said, y'all are Jacksons, y'all are legendary to us. So we're gonna always celebrate y'all, man. We love you, man.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a great evening. Great chat.
Boom, there you go. We got another Basco in the house. Derek Basco.
Two Bascos down.
2 Bascos down, and hopefully now Ella on the way. You know, we'll have that happen. So y'all, what y'all think, man? I hope I didn't spoil the Fabulous Filipino Brothers too much for you guys. I can't wait for y'all to see it.
I'm very hyped to see that movie. Yeah,
super excited to see it. I just think it's really cool. I like that you were like, as the oldest, like, what was it like wrangling your brothers and making it with them and all that? And then like to see that he's now doing that with his kids, it's beautiful. I'm like, oh, training. Look at you.
Oh, I love
putting
that.
all that knowledge to use.
Yes, yeah, like training the next generation of Bascos. Love it.
Oh yeah. That, like we're gonna have more for years to come. It's amazing. I love that aspect, and that he, you know, took care of his family. You know, saying he got, you know, the roles weren't coming in. So you know what? I got to go to college. Let me get this DJ thing going on. Let's get this event production thing going on. And then but he's still acting. He was still rock and rolling. I didn't know he was in the First Purge. And now I want to watch the First Purge. So
we did. We covered it on an episode of Keeping It Creepy.
Yeah,
I think it's next.
That's other podcasts.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. Keeping It Creepy with Kat and Cherry. I love it. So shout out to y'all, man.
On horror on the horror genre. Yeah.
Yes. So good times. We got another Basco down, and he's amazing. And it's a sad state that we don't have enough of us in those power positions, because we could have had so many amazing Basco stories, because everything that they've done, they've killed it. But hopefully, you know, from this point forward, once this wider distribution happens on Filipino Brothers, that they're going to get some shine, because they deserve it and they've been putting in the work. And again, they're amazing. I love them so much, and we've been blessed with their presence with another one. So y'all, another great one. Till next time, let's let them know how they can hit us up.
All right. I'm Kataphorric. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. We've also got a ShoPowSho TikTok, and you can get more behind the scenes by following our Patreon or buying us a coffee.
And I am Viva Valentina. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at viva.valentina, or on Twitter and chess.com at VivaValentinaXO.
Yes, man. The amazing Ates, the Dinaguan Destroyers. Love y'all both so much. Miss y'all so much. It's good to see you guys together, and y'all are killing it. Shout out again to Kat's Keeping It Creepy podcast with Cherry and Kat. Great stuff. And then our Tina over there, who's all over the news with her stuffed doll business, the Stuffy Spa, killing it. Y'all are amazing, man. Just doing such amazing work. For your boy here, I've got some amazing interviews coming up with Mortal Kombat, with the Nerds of Color. My other podcast, Something or Nothing, with Tranquil Ashes and Rukage. And if y'all didn't know, we did a ShoPow D&D that I finally put together, and it'll be on our Patreon. And I have some other special Patreon episodes that I finally put together. So that's going to be coming up. Actually, once I'm done with this, I'm probably going to post that now. So check that out. So great stuff on our Patreon. Thank you again, Kat, for putting that together. We'll have that content up soon and more. It's just a lot of fun stuff. For the month of May, we're going to have 2 episodes a week for May. So that's going to be crazy for AAPI Heritage Month. We've been recording so much, we're going to just give you two a week for the month of May to just show that love. And we're going to keep it coming. We're on the road to 50, y'all. We've already have, by my schedule, 43 episodes /recorded /planned out. So, and just more amazing guests on the way. It's going to be bananas, y'all. We're on the road to 50 very soon. We're going to be there. And so, yeah, we couldn't do it without these amazing Ates. I love y'all so much. Your boy Kuyapi. Follow me at Strange Since 1977 and at Faris at the Nerds of Color, and of course at ShoPowSho. Mahakita. Salamat. We're out of here, y'all.
guys, my name's Derek Basco, and I'll be on the ShoPowSho. Hope you can join me. I'm going to be talking with Kuya P and the Diniguan Destroyers. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, my name's Derek Basco, and my Filipino heritage is important to me because I grew up Filipino American, and it's a big part of who I am.
Yo,
Hello.
Ella's in the house.
Yeah.
What's up?
So great.
Hey, Ella.
Yeah.
We here at the
Nice
Nerds
to
of
meet
Color.
you.
We love you. You
Yeah.
did some Birds of Prey promo with us. You shouted us out for our Birds of Prey promos. But we love you. I love your music that you're doing with Ruby.
Oh, thank you.
Big fans.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna interview you on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of these days. Yeah, we'd love to have
Oh my
you.
God, nice.
We're so proud of you.
Yeah. Represent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We should have started the interview. This is like good 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. Well, we want to highlight each Bosco at some point. We'd love to have Ella,
Right?
whenever you're available. Ella, we'd love to book that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down.
Thank you.
Excellent. That's
We
so
had a
exciting.
show. We had a lot of fun.
Nice.
Nerd checks and stuff.
All right, stay keeping that positive and amazing music. My daughter loves you as well, Ella.
I will. Thank you so much. It was nice
Appreciate
meeting
you.
you guys.
Pleasure.
Thank you.